Coming up on today's show, if you will bear with us, we will discuss the latest news and rumors that's coming up today on Traveling with the Mouse. Welcome, everyone, to episode number 421 of Traveling with the Mouse. My name is John. I'm your host for this week because Adam just bullied himself into being host last week. He just, yes, pretty much. It should have been me. I could have been a
took
contender.
the bear by the horns last week, and
Bear by the horns they don't have.
Yeah, strike that, reverse it.
Yes. It was a sign to be bearish on Disney. But anyway, my name is John, as I think I mentioned, and you just heard my co-host, the only co-host I have this week, as Jason is resting up after his week in Disney, right?
Currently. He's not even back
pretty
yet,
much
as we're recording this. What's
on
up,
the way.
everybody?
He just couldn't make it all the way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you get to say your tagline.
I can't break the streak now.
Had to do it.
Should we talk about the news?
I did see a video here just recently.
You saw a video?
Yeah, no, on YouTube. You know, like it was one of the...
I've heard of it. I've heard of YouTube.
I hope so. He's been around about 20 years now.
Yeah.
Has it been that? Has it even been that long?
I think it was like 2007, right? 2006 or 7.
Is that when it first came out? I could have swore I was watching
so.
YouTube videos. You sure it's not just when Google took over, maybe? I could have swore it was out before then. Anyway.
When did YouTube start?
2005.
2005. Actually, my birthday, 2005. YouTube was launched February 14th, 2005.
You and YouTube share a birthday. We'll have to remember that now.
I will know, yeah. 2005.
That's back when it was not, in the clutches of the corporate, when it first launched, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, what I was going to say is on this video,
yeah,
apparently somebody was able to see like a walk around, like a soft opening almost, like none of the attractions were open, of the World of Frozen over in, is that Hong Kong, I think, where that one is, or is that Japan?
Hong Kong,
yeah. So it was actually looked pretty cool. But there's apparently now there's some on-ride footage of Frozen Ever After. I guess I haven't seen that yet. And Wandering Oaken's Sliding Sleighs. So I haven't seen that yet. I have to go check that out. But anyway, the walk around the land looked pretty cool, though.
Were the rides running, like testing or whatever?
It didn't look like it because there was one of them has a coaster part to it that's outside, and I didn't see anything moving on the track at this particular point in time on this video. But I haven't really followed back up on it so far. But I just thought it looked cool because it looked like you were walking in Arendelle, pretty much. So
looking now,
yeah. If you want to take a look at that, I just thought I would throw that in there.
I think I see the video you're talking about.
Did you? Who's it by?
Actually,
I forgot who it was by.
DLP Welcome.
Yep, that's the one. Yeah, it has to be because I subscribe to that channel.
It's funny. The castle, the Arendelle Castle, looks like the old Hong Kong Disneyland Castle.
Maybe they saved it, and that's why they.
Yeah, because they basically made it look like Disneyland Paris's castle now, the Hong Kong one.
Yeah,
I feel like I would like Hong Kong Disneyland. It's kind of the one that nobody talks as much about.
As far as the international park, you mean?
Yeah, as far as the international, it's the one that gets probably the least attention, I would say. In general, Hong Kong is it's not talked about as much as Shanghai or Tokyo or Paris.
Gets the least amount of love. Well, with having a new land opening, I'm sure it'll get more love.
Yeah, hopefully. It looks pretty good. I'm looking at it now. Yeah. Looks pretty neat. Huh. Wandering Oaken's looks pretty neat too, actually. It looks...
Yeah, the sliding, what's it called? Sliding sleighs.
Yeah. Just looking at it, I'm like, ooh, it looks kind of fun. Anyway, it also looks a lot like Norway at Epcot. Some of it.
So,
anyway, cool.
A handful of October dates are now sold out for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party.
I know.
Didn't it seem like they sold out sooner for a lot of these? Years past, like last year? Like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, I know Halloween sells out early. It seems to do that every year.
Yeah. The demand is higher last year, I think, overall.
That's
probably.
kind of what I'm trying to get at. It's hard to tell because for one thing, we don't know exactly how many tickets they sell either. We don't know how
Yeah, I
many they
feel
make
like they've
available.
cut down because, well, we'll ask Jason next week because he went to the Halloween party.
So what he felt the crowds were like, right?
Yeah, but I was looking at the app last night and everything was walk on, except Mine Train was down at some point during the party, so I didn't know what the wait for that was, but everything else was like 5 minutes, everything. So, and the last Halloween party I went to in like 2018 or 19, I guess it was 19, was,
I went to one in 19.
yeah, it was not, it was still pretty crowded for like, I remember like Big Thunder was like 15. There was a few others that were 15 or 20. Like, I think
I'm trying to remember what I
Peter
did.
Pan. So I feel like they've cut down on the crowd. They've raised the ticket price, but they've lowered the crowd a little bit.
I know I did Space. I know I did People Mover. I know I did Haunted Mansion.
That's my guess anyway.
I think I did Pirates.
A sneak
I don't know.
preview
Yeah.
then is Jason said the Space Mountain was awesome.
Yeah.
With the lights off.
Because it being completely dark.
Yeah, that's one thing I didn't get to do.
I thought it was awesome with it completely in the dark. I did that in 19,
Really?
actually.
Oh, yeah? See, I didn't get to do it then. I don't know why I didn't do it that year. Not sure why.
But I did it then, and yeah, I thought it was awesome.
Oh, that's right. That was the one you went to.
When I
by
was on a
yourself.
work trip,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
get to do that. That would have been cool. So that would have been fun.
Yeah. I talked about it then. It's just
I remember now.
It's just been 4 years.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I
Almost-
had to refresh my memory.
Almost to the day, because in a couple of weeks, it was in like mid to late October.
I remember that now.
Yeah.
I had forgotten about it.
Just to hit on this right quick, this says that DeSantis Disney Oversight District to reduce roadway repairs by $3.1 million across Walt Disney World property next year.
Look for potholes.
Yeah, well, I mean, this was on the evening of the 13th, and this originally, it says it will consider the final proposed budget. Maybe I'm missing a story that says what the exact one was, but I never saw another story, to be honest with you.
I didn't see a follow-up on that one, but maybe I'm wrong. But
So I guess this could potentially still be ratified, modified, whatever you want to call it.
yeah, I'm still trying to figure out, are they in control of, are they still abiding by Disney's clause that they, until this settles out in court, or didn't they overrule that by some other thing so that they basically have full control of the district now and they can kind of do whatever they want? Or are they kind of just doing what they can until the legal stuff plays out?
I don't know.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Well, this is kind of confusing. It says one of the cutbacks of the 2024 budget contains is a $3.1 million reduction. I know that sounds like a lot when you just read it like that, but in 2023 they spent $16.6 million, and so it's just down to $13.4 million. So they're still spending a lot of money on it. I don't know. It's just weird to me that makes a story in that sense, just because it's reduced by $3 million. It might be a good thing that it's reduced by $3 million. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I mean, they're still spending an awful lot of money on roadways and repairs. So
Right.
it's not like it just kind of makes it sound like it's going to pot over it. And it didn't, I don't think that's the case, since they're still spending $13 million. So,
Right, but still, they were doing this whole project around Magic Kingdom parking lot and Floridian Way and all that. They were doing a lot of work there. So
maybe they don't need that much either. Maybe
those flyover ramps weren't cheap.
Yeah. That wasn't all last year.
Well, the Magic Kingdom, there was a couple of flyover ramps that opened last year.
Was there?
Yeah.
I was going to say, because the major one I'm thinking of was done a long time ago.
Yeah, the one, right, the right. I know which one but there's another one off to the west, I guess, of that one that opened last year. Because they were still, even recently, they were still doing some road work on that area.
I mean, I'm just saying that's one of those stories that was tried to make out to be worse than it really is. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, still 3 million is nothing to sneeze at. So it's
not to
coming from
I'll
somewhere.
take it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying is like it's significant. So it's coming from, something would have been done that's not going to get done now, probably.
That's the reason why the Blue Sky project, even though it wasn't
Right.
even though it wasn't earmarked for that.
I will say this though, Disney's roadways are phenomenal. They do a great job of keeping traffic moving and keeping people in and out, and
Yeah,
it's well done.
it for the most part. Some of the marking and how you do is somewhat confusing at times, depending.
Well, there's sometimes when you're on World Drive and the lane suddenly ends and you gotta merge in. Sometimes that's but once you realize where those are, I mean, it's not that bad. That new flyover used to confuse me going from
Holly one?
No, not that one. The one heading towards Hollywood Studios now.
Oh, yes.
I guess from World Drive to, is it Buena Vista? What's the one I'm thinking of? Osceola. Trying to get to Hollywood Studios.
I'm trying to think because that roadway.
Are confusing.
I was gonna say that roadway was, now that I know, I like the new way to get to Hollywood Studios, I should say.
Yeah.
That roadway I know quite well.
Right. But anyway, why are we talking about this? Like,
I have no idea. Why did we stay on that for so long? Why'd you do that for, Adam? No.
Good question.
Okay, so Disney World, I don't think we got to mention this. They were granted the permit extension for Reflections.
We did talk about that last week.
We mentioned that one?
We did.
Okay.
Because we were speculating.
Right.
It's probably this same project unless, why would they change it if it's, so maybe they're keeping the option open to restarting that project.
Minnie's wonderful Christmas time fireworks dessert party.
For like $300.
Reservations open this month.
Yeah. Pass.
I guess the dessert parties must be popular enough because, they keep them around, right? They must make some money on them. So,
if you have the cash to burn, gives you a place to go.
Right.
And you get the dedicated fireworks viewing.
True.
Some people probably say it's worth it just for that. For a family of 4, you're paying like $800 to get into the party. And then another
dessert party.
Right, another like $300. Why not?
Yeah.
Spend $1,200 on one night, a 5-hour event.
Of course.
Chump change.
Well, also, something that came about in the last week. I swear some of this was around, but we didn't talk about it maybe last week.
Yeah.
About the statement after the report was saying that they were exploring the sale of ABC to Nexstar. I don't think we touched on that.
Did that come up? I don't remember.
I don't think it did.
Maybe not. But yeah, I think everything's on the table right now. Seems like.
Well, of course, Disney said that the reports were unfounded. As a matter of fact, the quote was, "While we are open to considering a variety of strategic options for our linear businesses, at this time, the Walt Disney Company has made no decision with respect to the divestiture of ABC or any other property, and any report to the effect is unfounded."
But it doesn't mean they're not considering it.
Oh, a lot of people had made the prediction that they were, before the year was out, this was way back at the beginning of the year, they were going to sell off both ABC and ESPN. And here we are, we're on the brink of October, and it still hasn't happened. So.
What if this is what we were talking about back in the 80s, breaking up the company. What if the, like Apple, would they just want the movie studio part, or they already have their own? So would they want the parks instead of buying the whole company? Would they just want to expand into theme parks and just buy the theme park?
Did you say if it was someone like Apple? Is that what you said?
Right. Yeah, Apple. I was just throwing out, one of the rumored.
Well, I really don't think it's. I know their name always gets thrown around just because of the cash, mainly. That's the only reason.
Well, they have a relationship with Disney.
Okay, and they have. Okay, the CEOs know each other.
Yeah.
I guess it could be possible, but it seems like every time it comes up, it makes it It just seems too obvious, I guess, for
Well,
some. Or maybe it's wishful thinking for some. Who knows?
maybe it's right in front of your nose and you don't realize it.
Yeah.
Anyway, possibly.
I think it's really going to be the sell to Comcast that's going to really get you.
Oh, Lord.
How about the story that said that more than a dozen rides are planned for the Disneyland Forward project? Have you heard about this? Have you heard?
Disneyland Forward?
Well, it says, according to supplemental information released by the city of Anaheim, Disneyland is planning on more than a dozen new rides for Disneyland Park and Disneyland California Adventure expansions.
Right.
Far from the final plans, of course.
Yeah. Well, we've seen years ago plans that they had for that park expansion that would go out into basically the parking lot area between Disneyland Hotel and the other parking decks.
It actually looks like it's for an expansion. The one I'm looking at is for an expansion of California Adventure in particular, but it just shows like an outline somehow in between. It's like almost using the downtown Disney area almost.
Really? Well, they were going to use some of downtown Disney before, but then they ended up reopening part of it. Remember that?
Yeah. Well, I'm just looking at this. This is to the left of both Disneyland and California Adventure when you look at it this way. And all this stuff they're talking about doing is like in front of the Disneyland Hotel, but some of it goes behind Paradise Pier. And of course, these are very tentative, but it just shows a list that's
right.
Like it's just named things like Family Ride, Thrill Ride, stuff like that, outdoor shows. They just have things like that on it. But
I mean, blue sky concept art?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's all they do these days.
Almost like they're taking some of the area surrounding the two resorts of Disneyland Hotel and Paradise Pier, like going behind Paradise Pier, and some of that area there, and almost like creating like a mini theme park.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember seeing this concept art.
Yeah. So
that was what they were looking at.
Yeah.
Which would be fine. I mean, they would probably add, I think, was Tron part of that? I think they talked about some of the rides at Walt Disney World.
Nothing confirmed.
Yeah. I think they mentioned it like a year ago as like a possibility of maybe Tron could show up, or maybe, Guardians of the Galaxy or whatever. I don't remember if they specifically said that, but.
One thing it seems like, at least or it was to start with Disneyland and California Adventure, is that they were able to take like all the more popular things from Disney World and somehow managed to fit them into two parks. All the stuff they have 4 parks and managed to fit into 2 parks.
Well, you think about the 4 parks, really, I would say 40 years later, Magic Kingdom and Epcot are really the only all-day parks. Even Epcot, though, you could say is a half-day park, but for me, because it's so big, if you just want to do rides.
No. I mean, you can't even, first of all
it's so long to walk it.
In my opinion, to do it properly, the only one that's possibly a half day, and that's just a possibly, well, as Animal Kingdom, really.
Oh, okay. I mean, Hollywood. If you did Genie Plus right, you could probably do Hollywood Studios in a half day, but
I don't know. I mean,
it's so small. I mean, there's just not as much to do.
Back when there was 6, 7 rides over there, I did it in like an hour. Well, but that was also purposely rushing from one to the next. So,
like I said, it depends on how you want to do it.
Mirabelle has arrived at Magic Kingdom.
Wait.
Yeah. She has meet and greets.
It's over in the old Merida one, right?
I do believe so. The Fairy Tale Gardens venue. So, yeah, that's where she was. I guess Merida is no more. Or who was there last? Was Merida still there? I don't even know.
No, I don't think she's been there since COVID. I remember last several times I've been there, that area was closed. So I think they're finally utilizing it again.
I was going to say, because Brave has been, how many years ago was that now? Like 11 years ago or something? When it 2012?
Yeah. Been a while.
Yeah. So so they've transformed it into basically Encanto themed over there now instead of. I guess Merida was the most recent one. Was the most recent resident, wasn't it?
Yeah. Speaking of Encanto, did you see the new Skyliner wrap for Encanto?
I did. I knew it was there, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it debuted this week, I think. It's got everybody on it.
Okay, surprisingly, it's
cool.
yellow. I feel like yellow is like the most common color of Skyliner.
Yeah, yellow was the ones that were unwrapped. Some of them, most of the unwrapped ones were yellow. So maybe now they're all wrapped.
I really hope not.
Unfortunately,
I prefer my Skyliner unwrapped. I prefer my Skyliner naked.
Yeah, I figured it's easier to see out of.
Exactly. So you can see where you're going.
Yeah, so you can see clearly.
Yes.
Precisely, Robin. Exactly. Are we going to talk about the big stories?
Yeah, I was just trying to
get the little stuff
on some things because we didn't do some of them last week, right?
You want to talk about it
since we did so much D23
story? Not sad, but
sad story.
Yeah, I remember just a sad state of where we're at with maintenance.
Oh,
Hollywood Studios, Keystone Clothiers entrance. Remember that had that marble.
No, that's what it has now.
Yeah, it has that's true. That's what's in there. But it had that marble exterior that just fell apart one day, and then they put a construction wall up for a year, and now they just opened it, and it's I just painted a wood door frame painted green. Yeah, that's it. Wow. It looks terrible still, but they just screw it. Let's just open it back up again. It looks so bad. So tacky.
Very
right
bad.
On the main street of Hollywood Studios, and it looks terrible. Would that fly on Main Street at Disneyland? Or Disney World or Magic Kingdom for that matter? If there was something that bad off, would they let it stay like that? I don't think so.
Maybe.
Why is this acceptable?
Because the park has no identity.
I guess. They can't find the same marble to match it, I guess, or something like that.
Maybe it was old.
Yeah.
It's no longer made.
They couldn't fabricate something to make it look like it's marble? It doesn't have to be real. Anyway.
I don't know.
Anyway, I just had to throw that one in there because it was annoying.
So, for some reason, it took this long because Tron's been open since what?
April.
So, Casey Jr. billboard has replaced the Tron construction advertising. So, I'm like, they still had a Tron. Was it, what was up there actually? It says Tron construction advertising.
Yeah, I think it was literally just the sign that said Tron. It was just a guy on the bike saying it just said Tron.
So they replaced it with one of Casey Jr. and it has Storybook Circus and it has the Choo Choo scene. It has Greatest Show on Earth. That's interesting, right? Why would they go with that?
Well, it says yesterday, today, and tomorrow, I guess, as you're heading to Tomorrowland.
But the only thing I can think of is that's exiting Storybook Circus. So, because the now programming, that sign made it sound like, still yet to come, right? Yeah. And here we are, Tron's been operational for months, and the sign was still there on the railroad track. So, I don't know. Maybe they figured it looked better because of where it is.
Right. It does look like it's a sign for Tron.
Right.
I guess this makes sense too. If you just came from the splash area, you'd be like, hey, thanks for showing up at the splash area that nobody really likes.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't think I've been over there since when it first opened. I actually just dropped in. I didn't even have any kids. I was just looking around at that time when it first
walked through there a million times heading for that bathroom to bring it back to circle. Which, by the way, is a pretty good bathroom. The one by the train station is pretty good.
All right.
I do like that one. Late at night, it's not late at night, but later in the day, it's not as busy over there, so
Right.
it's a good
So the
spot.
indoor mural refresh is now complete, basically.
Where?
Full circle. You know the mural.
Oh, indoor. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
indoor. Not
I was
indoor.
like,
Not INDOOR.
that's what I thought
ENDOR.
you meant. Right.
Star Tours.
Indoor Star Tours. Yes.
Sorry. At Star Tours. I
I was
guess I
like,
should have
indoor
been.
where?
Endor.
Yes.
Is it Endor? Indoor.
Yeah,
Endor?
that looks pretty. They did a good job.
Yeah, it's refreshed. It's probably been a long time since it got paint job.
I love hearing the Ewok. Was it Parade of the Ewoks? Music. Isn't that the name of the track?
Parade of the Ewoks?
I thought it was Parade of the Ewoks.
Is that the one? I was about to hum it for you, but you started.
What? Oh, you're gonna.
I was about to hum it, but you started.
Well, let's hum it together. 3, 2, 1. Dun, 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 dun.
No, let's don't.
What? Okay. Thought we were gonna hum it.
Ooga! Or whatever.
You do that, and I'll do the music.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's funny how they also talk similar to the Jawas, right?
Houdini.
Yeah.
You know, okay. Do I go down this rabbit hole, or should we not?
That depends. You start, and I'll pull you back out.
Okay, so George Lucas's reason, well, quote unquote reason for not using Wookiees was, Chewbacca is advanced. You know, he's technologically advanced, and he's whatever.
Technologically advanced?
Right. I mean, like, he knows how to use weapons, and he's whatever. But I'm like, okay, it's one Wookiee that learned how to. Okay, like, that doesn't mean all Wookiees. Basically, he wanted to sell toys, right? So he used Ewoks, and they were cuter, and thought he could sell more merch. That was the thing. But what, like, that would have been way cooler, right? If they were Wookiees.
I don't know. Looking back, if you're on a planet full of Wookiees, it kind of takes away from the uniqueness of Chewbacca of that era.
Well, I mean,
they showed him later.
The other thing was you can't find that many tall actors who are like 7 feet tall. So
yeah,
it's easier to find younger, like smaller people.
Well, so it worked better in the CGI era.
Yeah, right. When they finally did that in Revenge of the Sith.
Planet. Yes, whatever.
Anyway, I think it would have been cooler though.
It's one of my least favorite. It's one of my least favorite places to get on Star Tours.
Oh, the Wookiee planet, yeah.
Yeah.
It's when the Wookiee gets stuck, like hits the front of the thing,
right?
Isn't there a Wookiee on the front? I can't wait to see Ahsoka on Star Tours.
I don't think I said it on the show, but I had a coworker that went, and they actually had that. You know, they had it on Downtown Disney at the AMC. They showed episode 5. They actually went to that episode 5 of Ahsoka.
Oh, they played at the.
Yeah,
really?
They played at the AMC. I don't know what
you had to pay money.
Why that specifically was, but
because it's only like 40 minutes long, so you have to pay.
It was just a cool experience to see it on a big screen, you know. And
hope you didn't pay as much as a feature-length film to see that.
You know, I didn't ask. I don't remember how much it was. So
anyway,
probably the biggest story that has happened unfolded here, right? Should we go ahead and go with that?
Bare necessities, right?
Yes. Apparently, it was a sign of what Disney stock as well, being bearish. The bear was there was a literal bear there to give us the sign, and it was not a country bear. It was not Henry. It was not Humphrey from the old cartoons. Right. For those that might actually know that reference, probably not many of you.
Yes.
It was an actual, real live, native to Florida black bear.
The bear went over the mountain to see what he could see.
Apparently, he went into the cave.
The other side of the mountain was all that he could see. Remember that song?
Yes, I do. Little green jelly there.
Did he go over the Big Thunder Mountain to see what he could see?
Yes, he was going over to get a look at what was beyond Big Thunder.
Yeah.
And he was really disappointed, so he just went into the cave. But yeah, this is kind of wild. Apparently, a cast member that walks through in the morning times, right? That makes sure everything's all clear. I guess they do a walkthrough before they open.
Right. That's one of the stories.
in the caves, he apparently found a black bear.
It was a female black bear.
Yes, a female black bear.
Yeah.
Fortunately for the cast member, it was not in heat or had cubs or anything, or else that could have turned bad.
Would have come out swinging.
Yeah, that could have gone awry very fast. But I haven't heard anything on here of exactly them saying how it got in. That's probably going to come at a later date, right?
I mean, yeah, I don't know if they were able to track how it got in, but it had to be
the main thing they got it out safely.
I mean, an animal could easily get through behind, beyond Big Thunder area and walk through that area and swim across rivers of America. Bears can swim, so it's not that deep either.
So of course this also started several memes.
Oh yeah,
and pictures created of the bear in the theme park.
I think one of my favorite ones was the bear riding Tron. I thought that was fun.
Well, that one that I shared about Haunted Mansion was pretty cool.
The Haunted Mansion on-ride photo, of a bear. Leave it to the internet. It only takes a couple hours, and we have tons of memes about everything. So
apparently, the bears were protesting their change in their attraction.
Yeah.
So literally.
Right.
Wasn't there one of the bears watching the Country Bears, or was that the one you did?
That was the one I did. Trying to make it do all of the attractions that were in Frontierland, but didn't quite work.
But of course, when this first starts, there's a cast members that are basically they can't reveal too much of what the situation is. First of all, they may not know exactly the situation.
Because if they said there's a bear running loose in the park, everybody would go running and panicking.
Please disperse.
Yeah,
nothing to see here. Right?
Yeah, exactly. You keep going back to this line from Men in Black, but it's true. A person is smart, but people are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals or whatever.
I suppose this.
Whatever it was. And it. I mean, it's true. You get hysteria can spread quickly.
Yes.
But I'm sure within an hour, everyone heard about it on their phones and whatever, so...
Yeah. So when they first get there, though, it's just basically some cast members. Their job. That's got to be kind of an uncomfortable spot to be put in when you're basically saying, "Sorry, but this entire land is closed. This entire area is blocked off right now.
Frontierland has technical difficulties."
Yeah. Sorry, folks. Frontierland is closed.
The bear outside should have told you.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Bear. Oh, I mean,
the bear out front. But did you see where they caught it?
Yeah, it was almost over there behind Haunted Mansion almost, right?
Yeah, so I assume they tranquilized it because they put it in like a sheet or whatever and carried it away, unconscious, obviously. But it probably ran away when they started approaching it, or to have half the park open. I mean, people could have been in some danger had it decided to run more into the park.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of, anybody who basically decided to go left that morning was pretty much met with, go back the other way.
Right. Yeah. But it's interesting that half the park was still open with a bear potentially running loose.
Well, I think they felt like they had it contained.
Yeah.
But they wanted to be, actually closing as much as they did was really an extra precaution, just in case.
True. They could have probably left Adventureland open, but then it's, you have all those, you would have had to block a lot of those other pathways to make sure nobody could see what was happening.
Yeah. Right there at the Adventureland entrance, they managed to keep the Spring Roll cart open, though. I guess they...
Gotta make that money, man. They got pizza runs back.
Yeah. So
that was another news story.
So yeah, that was the kind of one of the biggest stories.
Yeah.
That was going on this past...
Indeed.
Couple of days at this point, right?
It was un-bear-lievable.
Un-bear-lievable.
And we will be right back.
Teaching her how to drive. But Dad, why not use Greenlight to help her save for her own car? Mowing lawns and getting paid. She'll go from washing your car to flexing with her own. How? With Greenlight, the money app for families. Together, you can navigate the world of earning, saving, and investing. Because when you teach her to be smart about money, she'll go far. Invest in your best investment. Sign up today at greenlight.com.
This episode is also sponsored by Zencastr. We use Zencastr for traveling with a mouse, and we really enjoy how easy and user-friendly it is. You can record up to 4K video and high-quality audio, and they have backups, so you never have to worry about losing any of your audio. Go to Zencastr.com and use the promo code TWTM, and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr Pay plan. I want you to have the same easy experience we do for all our podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story with Zencastr.
And now, back to the show.
So, one of the other big stories that came about, as a matter of fact, just yesterday. Yeah, boot.
Mm-hmm.
According to a filing with the SEC, Disney has provided an update to its planned capital expenditures in its theme park business. In the filing, Disney says that it plans to nearly double capital expenditures to roughly $60 billion over the next 10 years. So,
Yeah.
And interestingly
Yawns.
enough, at the announcement of this project, the stock went down.
Right.
So
The opposite of what they thought would happen, probably.
it could be. I mean, I don't know. I think one of the issues there, though, is they're tired of hearing all of this, what we're going to do. They want to see they want to see some action, you know?
Right. More than just concept art that can't possibly be built for another 5 years minimum.
Right. I think as far as Disney goes, there's a couple of things. I mean, the stock right now is not that appealing because they're, anyone who invests in it for the most part is looking for a return on their investment, and they're not paying dividends currently. They've talked about bringing them back at the beginning of next year, but still no word.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't really have anything about to happen. Everything is, kind of what if right now. They're kind of like saying, well, we plan on doing this. Well, I mean, they want to start seeing a little more than we plan on doing,
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, I feel like we've heard this promise or this pledge before, though, haven't we? What was the most recent thing they said they planned on doing?
Well, they talked about
I think they talk about this like every year.
I think they talked about, was it $16 billion at Disney World over the next 10 years?
Yeah, but I mean, like, I feel like every year they say about, we're going to spend this much in the next decade.
Yeah. Well, that makes me wonder.
Was that the Reedy Creek thing whenever they said they were doing it?
Right. They were saying that as a way to say, hey, we're trying to spend all this money in Florida. You might want to back off of, what you're trying to do.
Well, apparently they're still doing it.
If they really were doing $16 billion, does this increase mean that $16 billion is now $25 billion for Disney World? What does it mean?
I don't know.
Because it's worldwide.
They're not breaking it down.
But here's another question. Since Disney technically doesn't own the Tokyo, does Tokyo count, or does Tokyo handle their own finances? Disney just gets the licensing right to them.
I think that's basically how that one goes.
Yeah. So it's like, does that one not count? So are we talking Hong Kong, Shanghai, Paris, California, and Florida for the $60 billion?
And here's the other thing. What kind of plans are on the horizon that we've heard of for Paris or any of the international parks, really? Do they even get talked about much?
Not much.
I don't remember us mentioning them much in D23. The only thing I remember coming up is the ones we were talking about with Hong Kong, and it's about to open.
Yeah.
Or is open.
Right. Yeah, Hong Kong, Shanghai is getting a new land, right? The Zootopia.
Yeah.
So there's
have they even broke ground on that? Is that started?
No, it's well underway. Did you read this one part though about the story that you're gonna hate more?
I'm gonna hate more.
I forgot. I think it was Josh Tomorrow that said this quote. In terms of bringing the latest Disney, Marvel, Pixar intellectual property in the parks, we haven't come close to scratching the surface. And we have learned that incorporating Disney IP increases the return of investment significantly.
I don't think so. I think that's complete bull because that's all they have to base it on over the last decade.
Because that's all they've done.
So the last 15 years, you got nothing to compare it to.
Right.
I mean, seriously.
But that's why they're quadrupling down on IP.
But that's what I'm saying. They don't know. They don't give anything to compare it to. Literally, since Bob Iger's been CEO, they have done all IP.
Yeah.
They have not done anything non-IP.
Right.
So
this one slide, though, is like the most frustrating one. But they talked about, I guess, 5% over, like, return from, like, 2002 to 2012. And they mentioned, what did we open in those years? It was Mission Space. I don't know why they have Twilight Zone Tower of Terror there. Is that that must be the DCA one.
It has to be.
Soarin', Everest, and then Toy Story Land was mentioned. And then it's like all this IP since 2012. Cars, New Fantasyland, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is mentioned. Pandora, Galaxy's Edge, Guardians of the Galaxy, Ratatouille, Avengers Campus, Guardians of the Galaxy at Epcot, Tron, Runaway Railway, all this, Toy Story Land. Just a huge amount of IP. But I'm like, of course you got a return on investment on that because it's all these huge new lands. You didn't build any new lands back in 2002 to 2011.
Right.
Anyway.
Well, here's the other thing. Yes, that worked for a time period, but I think that strategy has run its course pretty much.
I think it should be a balance, though, a mix of.
Well, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Just the slapping IP on it for the sake of it. I think that's run its course.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's not getting the attraction now of the fact that it's just simply an intellectual property. It doesn't hold enough.
Maybe they've learned their lesson with the Country Bear Jamboree one, because they could have easily put IP on that and tried to turn it into something else, because it's like, it's, we need to change some of the...
Yeah, but in a way, it is IP.
I mean, it's become its own thing,
right?
But it was not.
Right, it is a Disney branded one. It was originally Disney branded, though. Yeah.
Well, then by that logic, Everest is IP now.
I guess it's... But you're not using it in anything. I don't know.
But anyway, I guess they did make a Country Bear movie, so
yeah, they've rebranded themselves. Are they going to redo the Country Bears?
Yeah,
the movie.
It's due for another live action, right? They'll use real bears this time instead of CGI bears.
They could. That's what they did in like Jungle Book and stuff, right?
Well, yeah, get Favreau to do it.
I was about to say what they should do, since their first time was sort of live action. They should make a cartoon one this time.
Okay, go opposite.
Do the opposite of what they've been doing.
Do it hand drawn too.
Yeah,
like they would ever do that.
Speaking of which, didn't I share that with you about Elemental?
What about it?
So this past Monday, Disney and Pixar announced that their animated feature Elemental, starring Leia Lewis and I'm not sure if I'm going to say his name down, Mamadou Athie, has scored the biggest movie premiere of the year to date on Disney Plus, earning 26.4 million views in its first 5 days.
Wow. Okay,
I told you it was going to be a good one. I told you it was going to be a good one.
Yeah. I can't wait to see it whenever I have an hour and a half to sit down and watch it.
Yeah. But I mean, they expect to see Elemental incorporated in the parks in the near future, I would think. It's probably going to be part of the Blue Sky.
Cool.
Yeah. Of course, I don't know how they fit it back behind Big Thunder, unless they just totally retheme that land.
Well, speaking of behind Big Thunder, there was something else Josh Tomorrow said that I was like, is this another Blue Sky thing that we'll hear about? He made the comment, imagine bringing Wakanda to life in the parks as like hey, we might do this. I think it was kind of like, again, throwing stuff against the wall to see if anything sticks.
Well, no, they're what they've started using D23 for is they've started using it as a way to gauge the Disney fans' reaction to when they say something, right?
Yeah, right. It's like, oh, okay, they kind of like that one. Let's keep going.
If it doesn't get like hardly any response whatsoever, which one was it that didn't get any response? I forgot what it was.
Oh,
from they mentioned it. Well, no, it was this year, and they mentioned something. I'm trying to remember what it was now. One of the things we talked about, they mentioned something, and then it was almost like dead silence.
Yeah, I was trying to think. There was some things that didn't get much.
Yeah. Maybe was it the change of was it Illuminous maybe? Like I don't think they really reacted too much to that.
Yeah, it was. I think it may have been that. Yeah, because it was kind of like, okay, whatever.
That's another thing. I don't think we've mentioned that so far in this show. Apparently, they have scrapped the entire soundtracks.
Right.
This new show, and are starting over.
Right. So does that mean? Didn't they say it's going to delay the opening? It's not going to be December 5th anymore.
I don't think they've reestablished a new date though either.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah.
Because if they're scrapping the whole thing and starting over, I don't know if they're going to
take a while.
That ready in 2 months. Because you would have to coordinate the fireworks to the new music. I don't think that you're going to be able to do that in 2 months, but maybe I'm wrong.
We shall see.
I'm not a fireworks expert.
Well, apparently every time they throw something at us show-wise and it doesn't do well, they always have Epcot Forever to replace it. I think people dig the soundtrack really more than anything else. I mean, you could shoot off whatever fireworks you want to during Epcot Forever. I think they dig the soundtrack more or less. You just have to have something to watch while it's playing. I mean, they could just play Katy Perry, right?
Yeah. Baby, you're a firework.
So Disney World has announced that there is a Florida resident weekday magic ticket.
Dude, yeah.
Now available. But to purchase for visits between October 2nd and December 22nd, residents can purchase a 4-day Disney weekday magic ticket, which kind of, cuts a little bit out. So there is technically some blackouts, right?
Yeah, is this Monday through Thursday or Monday through Friday?
I think Monday through Friday.
I can't remember.
Well, it says 4 days, so maybe it is Monday through Thursday.
That's what I was wondering.
For just $59 per day plus tax.
Yeah.
Or choose from a specially priced 2-day and 3-day tickets.
It's a great deal, man. Good Lord, that's a great deal.
Yeah. And apparently it says there's no blackout days except for, of course, weekends. So admission is subject to capacity, of course. So things like their park reservations, it kind of keeps that in check, right?
Yeah, subject to availability. So. But it seems like they know already that fall holiday season is fairly light during the week in particular. So,
well, I think their bookings for the holiday season is probably lower than it has been in recent years, and they're trying to fill it with locals.
The first thing they usually do is Florida residents, and then they'll throw a bone to the annual pass holders and DVC members, and then if that doesn't work, they'll do the general public discount too. So they'll probably have all three by the time October rolls around. I bet they'll have a pass holder rate for hotels that's beyond. I think they have one right now, but it's like Monday through Thursday. So, yeah, we'll see. I think it's light. I don't think it has anything to do with all the political stuff necessarily, though. Do you? I think a lot of it is everybody went last year for the 50th.
I think a good bit of it could be cost, because
everything's up. Yeah,
the cost of everything.
I think that's, and tons of people went during the 50th. I think people are itching to go back, especially there's not a lot of reason to.
I gotta be honest, the way it all went and how it was handled, if I was going for one of the first times, and I wouldn't be itching to go back either if I was one of my first experiences.
Yeah.
Just saying.
That 50th was not great. Yeah.
Yeah. Not ideal.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there there were a significant number of people that disagree, and they had a great time. But at the same time, I've just heard stories from a lot of people here and there, seen things written up.
I mean, if you
see comments online,
especially folks who went pre-COVID during the FastPass Plus time frame, even that was a lot. But you go now, it's way more complicated. We've heard that from numerous people, even people on our show. Guess
it's
more complex.
It's been a double-edged sword since it began, even in the FastPass era.
If you do a once every 5-year trip to Disney, you're not going to try and learn how to use Genie Plus for 1 week out of your life. Like, I'm not going to spend a month trying to figure this out.
Well, for having said that, you're not going to know how to use. Didn't know how to truly use FastPass Plus either.
But at least you knew. Oh, okay, I can book some stuff ahead of time. You may have been booking like teacups and PhilharMagic, but you didn't know that you weren't booking the best of the best necessarily. You still got to book 3 things. Like, hey, we get to skip the line at PhilharMagic. That'll be cool.
We get to skip the line at Mermaid.
Right. Yeah. I can go right on Dumbo. That's great.
Right.
And then you realize you're the Dumbo.
I gotta say, you realize that the same people that came up that day and didn't get a reservation also walked right on Dumbo.
Basically. Right. There's this coaster called the Barnstormer. It must be pretty cool. Anyway.
Epcot Park passes have begun selling out for the pass order preview of the Journey of Water.
Oh, yeah.
September 24th, 25th, and 29th were all sold out as far as park reservations. October 1st is sold out as well, so I don't remember what that leaves in between. It looks like the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and then things like that. So it's attracted people enough to for the park passes to go.
Indeed.
Starting to see some glass at the Vacation Club Tower.
Yes.
I really hope that they abandon some of the concept art in the sense that I would rather them try to make it look a little more like the other buildings.
Yeah, so it looks less like the Reflections concept art and more like the actual Polynesian that's 50 feet away.
Yeah. Why not make it blend in with their surroundings a little more than what they originally showed?
Yeah.
Just my thinking. Because if you don't let it blend in with the rest, it almost makes it like it's a whole new hotel.
Right.
Because think about it. Bay Lake Tower, it blends in basically with the rest of Contemporary as far as the style, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
I guess it complements because they're different. They're kind of shapes that...
Circle, square.
Yeah, kind of like that in a way, right?
Rectangle.
It's probably more complicated than that. More like high school math than kindergarten math shapes. But I guess they complement each other. I think before the Contemporary was meant to be the only big thing you saw, but now I guess because
DVC,
right, they had to build towers. Everything's towers now, so
yep.
Anyway, I guess that started all the whole tower thing was Bay Lake Tower, because Grand Destino Tower,
now everything's a tower.
Holly Tower, and surprised the Grand Floridian didn't build a tower.
That's another good example. Destino fits in with the surroundings.
Yeah, it does. It actually looks like it was meant to be there the whole time.
Exactly. Right. It's like it was always there, right?
It gives a centerpiece, a focal point. Yeah.
But the concept art, at least, of the Poly DVC kind of stands out from the rest of Poly instead of blends in with the rest of Poly.
It's also not central, like Grand Destino is like right in the middle. It's kind of off to the side.
Well, they had to deal with the real estate they had.
Sure, but I'm just saying it's a tower that's kind of off to the side, where does that fit in,
It's not anywhere near as tall.
Yeah. What is it, only 13 stories, 12 stories? 11,
something like that.
12?
But, at first I was thinking that would be a bigger eyesore than it really is. Like it doesn't,
it's like Riviera.
It doesn't like, it's not above the main longhouse. It's not above the Great Ceremonial House as much as I originally thought it was going to be. Like when I saw it in person,
Yeah, it's not going to hover
it doesn't
over
tower over it. Yeah. So, I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
All right, so shifting gears again. The second night of Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party is now sold
Wow.
out. Even at $200 some odd a night, right? So,
Whatever it is.
or-
Yeah,
or
the first ones are
something
the
ridiculous.
cheapest, but yeah, they're still 200 or close
Yeah.
to it. 179 maybe. I don't remember. Crazy.
Oh, yeah, that was another thing in the story. It says they had to reiterate that they have no plans to build theme parks in new cities or states. It says that they have enough space to build 7 Disneylands at existing properties, they say. So,
Right. Oh, right. Yeah, they wanted to make sure that we knew they're not going to revisit or try and build
Relocate.
something in Texas or Virginia or something.
North Carolina.
Yeah.
Was it?
Wasn't the one? Well, yeah, there was talk of one in Virginia back in the 90s, right?
Yeah, well, there was one land that Iger wanted a green light that was about it's very American, and I forgot where it was supposed to
You
be.
mean Iger or Eisner?
I mean Eisner.
Yeah,
I
Disney's
said,
America.
I didn't say Iger. I meant Eisner. Yeah. Was that the name of it, though? I thought they called it something
It was
else.
Disney's America. There was one that was near a Civil War battle site. Was that the one in Virginia?
I think that's the
I
same
think it was
one,
Virginia then.
but I think that's the same one,
Yeah,
the same park.
I believe it's Disney's America, and it was Haymarket, Virginia,
Okay. Yep, it was
close to Washington D.C., but it was like near a historical battlefield, and historians did not like that.
For a fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can gather, I can understand that.
Right.
So, something we've mentioned on here a lot, pretty much since COVID.
Yeah.
About trams. But apparently, now after, 1,100 days, courtesy parking lot trams are returned to operation at all 4 theme parks.
Amazing. So,
All 4 of them are operating
are we
again.
officially back to 2019 operations?
I don't think so. I really don't.
All the restaurants are back open. Not all of them, probably.
Well,
Is there
Garden Grill serving breakfast was one of the last things that I remember. You know what I mean? And they're doing that again.
characters haven't come back to Ohana yet, right? For breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only thing. That's the last thing.
I'm sure there's probably some small things that we're not thinking of because there's a lot of restaurants.
Yeah, there's probably a
But-
few, but they'll probably never reopen.
Yeah, it's possibly.
ESPN Club off the boardwalk.
Yeah,
Saw
they
that
were
paper.
planning on redoing that one,
Yeah,
weren't
it's
they?
still
It was already
delayed
closed anyway.
indefinitely. The that new bakery or deli or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
Projects like that, it's not surprising.
it's good to know that the trams are running again.
Yep.
Finally, now that it's fall. It's fall,
What do we think when I mentioned just a minute ago about how well, we've talked about how well Little Mermaid
Yeah.
and now Elemental have done on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
How well do you think the Haunted Mansion is going to do when they release it?
I hope well if they when's it gonna? Do we know when it's gonna be released?
It was supposed to be sometime in October, if I remember right.
Yeah, if the timing is right and people are in the Halloween mood, they're gonna watch it.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Well,
I doubt it's gonna be able to make its money back, but
wasn't the official release date for Dial of Destiny like next week for Disney Plus?
I don't know. Let me see. Dial of Destiny, is it coming? It's already on like where you can rent it digitally.
Right. But it was going to come to Disney Plus, I thought, this coming.
I'm looking for a release date.
Or maybe I was thinking of Elemental and it was last week.
I don't see a release date.
Oh, yeah. I knew that maybe this was the date I was thinking of. The Haunted Mansion is coming on October the 4th.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, it needs to be.
Yeah. So that way they get to have it. It's not too far away that it's going to be on there. And I feel like that's another one, though, that's going to do exponentially better on Disney Plus than it did in theaters.
Yeah, although how much money can it really make on Disney Plus? I mean, what do they do? Allocate like a dollar amount based on?
I don't know.
It was viewed this many times, so this
I don't know about the making money part,
Yeah.
but at least that will help them
exposure
with...
and stuff. It'll get
Right.
more word of mouth, and
Right.
I don't know what that means in terms of monetary gain. selling more merch or something. I don't know.
Possibly. If there's a central character in there that, well, see, they already sell the Hatbox Ghost anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it hard to believe that the Hatbox Ghost merchandise is going to jump. Anyway.
Yep.
I think we've gone well over our allotted time for this week.
Sure.
Even though we don't really have a lot of time.
Yes.
So, why don't we wrap this up?
Sure.
Did we miss anything? I mean, I know we covered a lot of stuff that we haven't covered in the last couple weeks.
All I can think of
due to
is
D23 and so on.
Yeah. Oswald pass holder magnets are coming to Epcot,
Oh, okay.
I think.
Pass holder mags.
Those things are sought after.
A D.
People steal them off
So
people's
this is
cars
a-
all the time.
Or is this an O? Yeah, that's why I didn't put mine on the car.
I don't put mine on my car because, someone's going to steal it. So,
Mine are on the fridge.
Yeah.
Both of my D's.
you put D's on the... Okay. There's
Well,
a lot I could say. D's...
No, it's,
magnets?
they were, they sent me 2 D's.
Yeah. Oh, you're
They
right.
sent me double D's.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, so you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That is all at TWTM Podcast. We have a Spreadshirt store, which you can get your exclusive TWTM merchandise at shop.spreadshirt.com/TWTM Podcast. And we have a YouTube channel in which you can find some of the videos that I have posted up there, including more recent and classic. And where else can you find that?
Our website, which is travelingwithamouse.com. You can find links to that and more. You can email us podcast@travelingwithamouse.com. And also on our website, we have links to a travel agent friend who can help book your next Disney vacation.
So for Adam, my name is John. This has been Traveling with a Mouse, and we hope you will join us on our next trip.
Thanks for bearing with us to the bare end of that episode.
Thanks for bearing with us to the bare end. And you'll barrel around to see us again.
I don't want to
Something
see your bare end.
We hope that you'll be coming back again.
Yeah.
That you'll drop in to
Yeah,
see us
yeah.
now and then.
All right.